It's Sunday, October 23rd, 2016. We're 2 weeks out from this historic election. And as a man, as someone who loves justice, as someone who is addicted to freedom, I quite frankly have trouble dealing with the incredible energies that we see unfolding around us in this dimension. Donald Trump is giving speeches that are so Americana, that are so based in human liberty that they bring tears to your eyes, and none of it is being shown on the national news. We come back from break, in the words of Matt, one of our producers, it brought tears to his eyes. The Trump effect. Trump versus the establishment. We're going to play this little 6-minute video at least twice tonight with the speeches he's giving across this country, from Gettysburg to you name it. And we see what the entire global power structure is doing to shut down Trump. It is unprecedented. It really is a final chance before the abyss. Because globalism is an admitted system that is anti-human, anti-freedom, anti-prosperity. And we see all these powerful interests turning us against ourselves, all of them dumbing us down, all of them admitting their plan is total control, and pushing this narrative that the age of humanity is over, that free will doesn't exist. Truly, the power structure that's hijacked our country and the world is satanic. And truly, regardless of who Donald Trump the man is, he is a bellwether, an archetype, a figurehead of our age and of choice. We have his full speech in Gettysburg. The last 10 minutes, it's like 30 minutes long, is extremely powerful. I'm going to air that in this first hour as well. I got up this morning to show my ignorance, and I knew they were talking about the merger, but they announced it this morning. AT&T wants to merge with Time Warner, as if they don't already have a monopoly. They want to do that. This is just emblematic of the age we live in. And we have the 15th data dump of the Podesta emails in the last 20 days or so, just confirming that Hillary knew they'd be blamed for working for Putin, so she blamed Trump for working with Putin with no evidence, when her and Podesta have gotten massive amounts of money from them. And again, I told you I never lionize Russia. Russia's looking out for its interests, but to blame Trump for being a Russian agent when Hillary is sold out to the Communist Chinese, the Saudi Arabians, the EU, the Russians, I mean, you name it, she sold out to them. The woman didn't just steal the White House furniture or the White House plates or cutlery or silverware or paintings. She stole the State Department's. I mean, this is a true criminal. This is who the social engineers would visit upon us, who would engage in any crime you could ever imagine. An empty, soulless vessel of tyranny. We've got the mainstream media pushing massive inflation this next year, global financial meltdowns. We knew that was coming. We've got the Soros Group accused of violating Arizona election law. We've got the UN, quote, goes all in for unlimited, quote, migration. That means open borders. It's all coming up today. There's a big report up on Infowars.com. We may not have time to actually air, but it's on the site. It's 18 minutes long. And it's unprecedented proof of Hillary and the Democrats already stealing the election. Plus, Project Veritas on Friday called us all panicked that the feds were after him and all the rest. They kind of backed off that now, but we've been talking to them. They may want to come on and make a statement. We'll see what happens on that front. But these are very, very important times we all live in right now. This is a crossroads in the future of humanity, and everybody at a gut instinctual level, a spiritual level, intellectual level knows that. All right, I want to open up this Sunday broadcast with a very, very important video that we've just posted to Infowars.com. I'm going to tweet it out at Real Alex Jones as well, and on our Facebook. It's the Trump effect. Trump, the establishment, is the name of the video. Most powerful Trump video to date, in my view. We're going to air this 6-minute video and then come back with the latest news. But the entire global corrupt power structure is against Donald Trump right now. If we claim we're against the corrupt power structure, how would we not support Donald Trump is the simple question. We have his report in Gettysburg yesterday. It's incredible. We have so much today, but this really is Americanism versus globalism right now, and here is the report.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation. And this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever's necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented. And the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefits of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
Hashtag Trump the establishment. Ladies and gentlemen, the elite would never allow somebody to do something like this. This is outside the box. That's why they're thrown in everything they've got, both political parties, the entire power structure, all the foreign banks, all the foreign governments, the Pope, the Communist Chinese, the Saudi Arabians, the kitchen sink. They've thrown everything but the Easter Bunny at Donald Trump because they've stolen this country. We've been conquered by economics. We've been sold out. We've been used to build a world government. And they know Donald Trump just wants a fair deal for America. That brings down their whole system. They are panicking. They are crapping their pants. They have pulled out all their stops. The Brexit, the UK's pulling out of the EU, Russia's pulling out of it, all these other countries. Australia's pulling out of carbon taxes and globalism. Catalonia is pulling out of Spain. Iceland's pulling out of the EU. Latin American countries are waking up. And the New World Order is panicking right at the point that they plan to bring us all into a worldwide depression, to bankrupt everyone, to consolidate control. These banks don't want prosperity. They want total control. And you see Hillary, the poster child. They had two different CNN focus group polls where they voted 10-5 and 8-5. Two different videos I have today. And CNN just cuts the feed. They go to their focus group. So we've got how many for Trump? Okay, 10. How many for Hillary? 5. How many independents? 5. They cut when 10 are for Trump. I've got another video. Same deal. The internal polls show him 15 points ahead. There is a landslide. Hillary has no crowds. She has nothing. But they're panicking. They plan to steal the election. They're trying to think of you as soft-minded, weak-minded, selling you this. Does it mean Trump's perfect? No. But he's not out to get the country. The globalists stole this nation. They've taken control of it. They've consolidated control. But here's the good news. Whether they steal the election or whether Trump wins or whether he loses, nationalism, awareness of the private Federal Reserve, awareness of these big banking combines is now public. And there's no putting that back in the bottle. That genie is out. Pandora's box is open. That train left the station. Now, not this segment, but next, I'm going to open the phones up and take your phone calls throughout the 3/4 of the broadcast. When we come back, I've got more clips here as they desperately try to start a race war in this country and have all these football players take a knee during the national anthem and folks, do this. It's just all distraction. So we all fight with each other so we don't notice the big banks, what they're up to. We've also got other big clips as well and more Trump speeches straight ahead, but history's happening. So last segment, we aired a very powerful compilation of Trump speeches talking about where America is and what we've gone through and basically what the stakes are. But he gave a speech a few days ago in Gettysburg. It's about 35 minutes long. I'm going to air some of it now, some of the next segment. And I don't normally come on the show and just share Trump speeches, but Trump is promoting true Americana. He believes America's smart. He believes America understands what's happening. He believes America sees through the mainstream media. He really believes that you're not under their control. And I talked to people all over the place in Austin, which is a liberal town. Almost no one is voting for Hillary. They know the nomination was stolen from Bernie Sanders. They're awake. So again, isn't that Trump is perfect? It's that he represents what made this country great. Here's Donald Trump.
Our infrastructure is in such trouble. We've doubled our national debt to $20 trillion under President Obama. In less than 8 years, $10 trillion has been added. Think of it. And we haven't fixed anything. We haven't fixed anything. What have we done? Our roads are broken, our bridges, our tunnels, our hospitals, our schools, and we have $20 trillion in debt, all-time high. That's true. Our VA hospitals are in bad shape, and our VA is in very, very bad shape, and we will fix that. We are going to work on fixing that because our veterans have not been treated properly. We have illegal immigrants that are treated far better in many instances than our veterans, and we're not going to have that. School Choice and Education Opportunity Act redirects education dollars to give parents the right to send their children, to public, private, charter, magnet, religious, or home schools of their choice. And so importantly, we're going to end Common Core and bring education supervision to local communities. We do so badly on education. If you look at the lists and you see Sweden, Norway, Denmark, China, different countries at the top, you see us at the bottom. And yet, by far, per pupil, more money than anybody, and it's not even close. We spend more money per pupil than anybody, not even close. We're at the bottom of the list. Other countries spending far less per pupil are at the top of the list. So obviously, our current system is not working. We will change it, and we will make it good. It expands vocational and technical education, which we've totally forgotten about in this country, and make 2- and 4-year colleges more affordable. Have you ever gone to school and you've been with people that aren't good students, but they can fix an engine, or they can build a wall, or they can do things that you wouldn't even think about? Because we can use some of the ones that build the wall. We're going to need them. We're going to need them. We're going to need them. But did you ever see that? How they're genius at fixing a car. They can do anything. But history, not so good. Physics, not so good. I mean, we have to open vocational again. Those are the people. These are great people. The Repeal and Replace Obamacare Act. Fully repeal Obamacare and replace it with health savings accounts. So we can do that. The health savings accounts, it's one way. There are numerous ways, but this is one very good way. The ability to purchase health insurance across state lines, which we have to do because that's competition. The politicians won't let go of it because the insurance companies, they don't want competition. But we'll open it up. Believe me, we'll get rid of that. I've been saying it for years. And let states manage Medicaid funds. It will be so good. Reforms will also include cutting the red tape at the FDA. There are over 4,000 drugs awaiting approval, and we especially want to speed the approval of life-saving medications. I mean, they're looking at drugs that are looking very good, and you have terminal patients that it's over. These people, they're dying. They want to get the drug. They won't be living much longer. And we study it for years and years. At some point, they have to do what they have to do. They have to do it properly. But we have 4,000 different drugs and products waiting in line for approval, and we can't get them approved. We're going to speed up that process very significantly. Affordable Child Care and Elder Care Act allows Americans to deduct child care and elder care from their taxes, incentivizes employers to provide on-site, and so important, child care services.
That is so huge,
you see
folks.
that with a couple of companies, and it's such a great thing to see. And creates tax-free dependent care savings accounts for both young and elderly dependents with matching contributions for low-income families. So good. End Illegal Immigration Act. Fully funds the construction of a wall on our southern border. Don't worry about it. Remember, I said Mexico's paying for the wall. With the full understanding that the country of Mexico will be reimbursing the United States for the full cost of such a wall, okay? We're going to have the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Mexico's, by the way, I met with the president of Mexico 2.5 months ago. Wonderful meeting, wonderful person. But I told him, this is a two-way highway, not a one-way highway. We have our people. We have to take care of our people. We have to protect our people. So it's got to be a two-way street. Otherwise, it's going to be a whole different deal. But it establishes a 2-year mandatory minimum federal prison sentence. This is people coming in illegally for illegally re-entering the United States after a previous deportation, and a 5-year mandatory minimum for illegally re-entering for those with felony convictions, multiple misdemeanor convictions, or 2 or more prior deportations. So when somebody comes in, we send them out. They come back in, they go to prison for quite a while. They come back again, they go 5 years. Because what's happening is they're coming back 10 times. And I could go case after case. They come back, look at what happened in San Francisco. 5 times he came back. On the 5th time he killed Kate. 5 times. But so many others. 10 times came back. Killed somebody after 10 times. When they get deported, they stay out. Otherwise,
we're going to come back with the rest of this, but it's nothing against Mexico or China or Russia or anybody. Tuberculosis is coming in. AIDS is coming in. Drug-resistant bacteria are coming in. We have leprosy coming back in. Nobody lets people in that have committed crimes. If I want to fly down to Cancun, they check my license, make sure I'm not a criminal. That's fine. That's their country, Mexico. So they demonize Trump for bringing this up. I mean, this is just common sense you're hearing. Meanwhile, the big money is financing race war in this country. We are 15 days out from this historic election. More of this speech and then your phone calls coming up on this Sunday edition. 877-789-2539 is the toll-free number to join us. Your calls are coming up in the next segment on the election, the world economy, the situation with Russia. The top British general saying the U.S. is already at war with Russia. That was a Friday article at Infowars.com. 877-789-2539. First-time callers in the first round, 877-789-2539. Your call's coming up in the next segment. I don't normally just fill the show full of clips, but these Donald Trump speeches are powerful. They are Americana. Hey, if you want to live in North Korea or communist China or former Soviet Russia, get in a time machine, go back 20 years. This is what made America great. This is what Donald Trump's promoting. This is what Donald Trump is standing for. Kennedy cut taxes in the standard tax bracket from poor to middle class by 50%. Tax receipts doubled in the next couple years. We cut taxes, more money comes in. But the social engineers don't want that. They want control. And so the entire media and everybody else screwing us is telling us we can't have Donald Trump. What a referendum on America. If America doesn't choose Trump, I don't know what they're choosing, because even if you don't like some of what Trump stands for, and neither do I at some level, Hillary is the establishment. And Hillary has the media and corporations behind her. Aren't you tired of greased skids towards tyranny? With Trump, it will gum the whole system up and slow stuff down. Gridlock's what made this country great. We don't need thousands of more laws. We don't need more regulations for special interests. Here's Trump at Gettysburg.
What happened in San Francisco. 5 times he came back. On the 5th time he killed Kate. 5 times. But so many others. 10 times came back. Killed somebody after 10 times. When they get deported, they stay out. Otherwise, they have very serious prison terms. They will stay out. Once you do that, they will stay out. Right now, they have no consequence. They have no consequences. Also, reforms on visa rules to enhance penalties for overstaying and to ensure open jobs are offered to American workers.
Imagine if killers could just go to Mexico and kill whoever they wanted. Crazy Americans would go down there and kill
Number 8. Restoring Community Safety Act reduces surging crime, drugs, and violence by creating a task force on violent crime and increasing funding for programs that train and assist your local police who are doing such a great job, believe me. We increase the resources for federal law enforcement agencies and federal prosecutors to dismantle criminal gangs and put violent offenders behind bars or out of our country and into the country where they came from. Restoring National Security Act, which rebuilds our military by eliminating the defense sequester, which has been very tough on our military, and expanding military investment. Now, at no time, practically, do we need a military like right now. We don't want to use it, but it's peace through strength. We need a strong military. Our military is so terribly depleted. It also provides our great veterans with the ability to receive public VA treatment or attend a private doctor of their choice. If they're waiting online, and I have the plan up, and we've gotten, as you know, tremendous support from veterans, from law enforcement, from veterans, from the military, tremendous support. But if they're waiting online, and you see it, 22 suicides a day, people don't even believe it, 22 a day. But if they're waiting online for 7 days, 6 days, 9 days, they can't get to see a doctor, and a simple procedure or a simple prescription can solve their problem, and they become very sick, and they die. They die waiting in line. We're going to give them the power to go across the street to a local doctor, a private doctor, a public hospital, or a private hospital, all looking to help and all looking to do business. And we'll pay the bill. So much cheaper, but much more importantly, the veterans will finally be taken care of properly, because what they're going through now is unacceptable. Also, we're going to protect our vital infrastructure from the new thing. It's called cyber attack. It establishes new screening procedures for immigration to ensure those who are admitted to our country support our people and our values. We want people that love our country or can love our country, and people that will love our citizens. We want people that can love us. And there are ways through talent of determining that, and other countries do, but we don't. Just come on in, folks, come on in. Clean Up Corruption in Washington Act enacts tough new ethic reforms to reduce the corrupting influence of special interests and donors on our politics. On November 8th, Americans will be voting for this 100-day plan to restore prosperity to our country, secure our communities, and honesty to our government. This is my pledge to you. And if we follow these steps, we will once more have a government of, by, and for the people. And importantly, we will make America great again. Believe me. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to explain something. If you go back 200 years ago, the major British newspapers wrote about the American problem. Now, by World War I, the British royalty and the British power structure had kind of gotten control of our country through the Council on Foreign Relations at Pratt Street in New York. I'm not blaming the British. They're not the power structure today, but it was a model of control of the British Empire that we're now under. This is what globalism is, but now it's corporations, not British royalty, running it. But they took it over. This is all public. If you just research mainline political science, this is well known. Just the public's not informed about it. And they said, we're in competition with the American system. We can't deal with this. So the answer was, take it over. Now, they got off the American system by World War I because the Germans had developed all these thousands of patents on chemicals and on industry, you name it. So Germany was taking over, not through colonialism, through politics, and through military, but through innovation. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire, bigger than Germany, but Germany later. And so they started World War I with the Germans by assassinating their crown prince, Fred Ferdinand. Look it up. That's all public. So there's a system that's anti-free market, that's anti-Renaissance, that's been running for over 100 years, longer than that, but big time 100 years, that wants to shut down competition. And Trump gets that, and he knows that. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't hold America down. China's had 10% growth rates for 50 years. We used to have 50% growth rates, 10% growth rates. So they've cut China's growth rate to like 7. They've cut ours to like 1. We should have 10% growth rates every year. But instead, they've trained us to have 1% or 2%, and China have 7%. We've been totally screwed over. And Trump understands this. Trump knows that we've been brought down to 1% growth rate on a 7 or 10% growth rate. That's how you can actually grow an economy, is having growth rates like that. That's what creates wealth. They want a post-industrial world. They've sold the idea to liberals that being poor and being austere is cool. Okay, fine. If the elite do that too, then I can hear the argument. But it's not that. It's a way to totally consolidate controls. We're going to come back from break and take your phone calls. Gary and Mark and Daryl and Matt and Larry and Josh and Owen and others that are patiently holding. The toll-free number to join us. This is the Sunday show number. We produce everything in-house. It's different during the weekdays. It's 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. I'm going to come back and take your call one after the other. Then I have several special reports on the economy, on world military developments, and more that are coming up. But bottom line, most big elites can't innovate with science or technology. They just innovate by buying off governments and passing regulations to shut down their competition. And Donald Trump is trying to break that right now. And if we don't take this as a godsend and elect Donald Trump, we deserve what we get. Plus, they're planning to steal it. All right, here's some of the headlines up on drugsreport.com and on your phone calls. AT&T, Bell South, Time Warner, TBS, CNN, and DirecTV all to merge. So they have like 3 media companies now in the U.S., basically. Not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but 3. Faces regulatory cloud with elections looming, more and more media industry consolidation, renovation of the web. And you've got Hillary in multiple national polls, 2 to 5 points behind. LA Times, you name it. Trump up 2 points nationwide while Clinton campaign as if the race is already won. That's the IBD TIPP presidential election tracking poll. We've got Associated Press polls. We've got Bloomberg polls. We've got LA Times polls showing her behind 2 to 5 points. Trump 2 to 5 points ahead. Meanwhile, Goldman's CEO, Blankfein, is supportive of Clinton. Silicon Valley all in. Basically, 100% of those donations are going to Clinton. But you're against the establishment. It's why you're against Trump. Silicon Valley's all in, though. Meanwhile, Billboard in Austin, Texas, encourages illegal aliens to get a sugar daddy in the U.S. to not be deported, and the UN plan for unlimited migration is promoted. Again, we're not against anybody, no matter where you're from in the world, but we can't sit here and pay for it all. We're going bankrupt as part of the program. Meanwhile, videos coming up the next hour. Hillary breaks into bizarre laughter over her stamina. And Biden, in a new video, wants to kick Trump's ass. I wonder where the Secret Service is there responding to that. But I want to go to Mark and Matt and Josh and Chris and Todd and Owl Killer and Gary and everybody else here in just a moment. But I got to tell you something. It really is crazy to see how Americana Trump is and to see how patriotic he's been and to see all he's gone through and to see the establishment media unified demonizing Trump. When Hillary gets in, the special interest and the controlled media have greased skids to do whatever they want, and these people are known for robbing everyone. Quite frankly, I'm worried about a Trump presidency because the establishment will hit him with everything they've got. But what about a Hillary? I mean, Doesn't everybody instinctively know she stole the election from Sanders? Don't they know she's out to get us? And her own emails and WikiLeaks admit she wanted Obamacare to bankrupt the country. I mean, she wants us poor. She wants us under her control. She's a monster. So if we let them steal this election, we go along with this, we deserve what we're getting. 15 days out from the election right now. 15 days out on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com are fighting it at the very tip of the spear. They're announcing web censorship, internet censorship coming next year. They're already engaged in it. Incredible things are happening. They're trying to start wars. We have megalomaniacs running things, and we need to stand together and say no to this, bottom line. All right, who should I go to first? There are a lot of callers. Who'd you say? Okay, Mark in Oregon. You're on the air. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Alex, the way they're going to steal this election is by what they've already been doing, and that is keeping the polls very close, so that it'll be totally believable when they steal the election and the computerized voting.
No, I totally agree. Trump in internal polls and their own polls has been 5 to 15 points ahead. It varies. And so they keep keeping them close to create that illusion. She has no crowds. She has no support. She has no small donations. She's a total hoax.
The BuzzFeed poll actually polled 2.5 million people, and what they found was it's 70% for Trump, 30% for Clinton. But now, Alex, if Donald Trump, if you can get word to him somehow, if Donald Trump would set up his own independent polls or hire pollsters who are bona fide and certified and honest to bring out the real numbers, I think this is the exact remedy to the way they're going to steal this election.
No, I agree. I mean, look, I'm not saying the LA Times polls is perfect, but he's always been ahead in that at least 5 points, 2 to 3, 5, 6, 7 points. Look at this clip. I've seen 2 different focus groups on CNN where they go to the people to raise their hands, and 10 raise their hands for Trump, 5 for Hillary, 4 or 5 for independents. It happened twice this weekend, and they cut the feed when it happened. So since you mentioned that, here's a clip. Undecided voters weigh in on debate. The video's up on Infowars.com. Here it is.
Let's ask the group with a show of hands. Did this debate help any of you decide on a candidate? And if so, how many of you have decided now to vote for Hillary Clinton? 1, 2, 3,
5.
5 of you. Okay, how about did this debate help you decide to vote for Donald Trump? 10 of you.
It's actually 11.
What about a third party? Gary Johnson or Jill Stein? Did it make you want to vote for any of them? Or undecided? Okay, well, that's what I was going to ask you next. Who is still undecided here? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them still undecided.
So they say it's 10 to 5. It's actually 11 to 5. So and this happens over and over and over again, Mark.
Alex, the only remedy to this is to have polls which are independent of the mass media that is also putting Hillary Clinton in the White House if they can. I can't think of anything else in the world.
Wait. You mean the mainstream media that's been caught lying on polls and caught taking questions from her and caught in WikiLeaks being run by her? You mean we shouldn't trust a fox to guard a henhouse?
We trust it as much as we would rat poison in our dinner, Alex. They're out to put this monster in the White House. As I see it, Alex, the only way to stop them is to put out some legitimate polls out there, and Donald Trump has the resources to do this. I wish you'd pass it on to him, because they're going to steal the election just as sure as...
Well, he's going to have poll watchers out everywhere, but great point. Great point, Mark in Oregon. She's going to get 4 to 5 Supreme Court justices in. This is the end of America. That's why they're planning to steal it. It's why they don't care. She's wildly unpopular. They don't care because even though America gave the globalists the engine of all their power, they still want to mount its head on the wall. And so this is about being conquered. This is about being pissed on. And they're doing it. Great points, Mark. Daryl in Oklahoma, you're on the air. Go ahead, Daryl.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you having me on. Hey, real quick, I wanted to talk about this Evan McMullin, the independent presidential candidate who is being...
Oh, yeah, out of Utah being pushed by everybody to try to spoil things, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the ballot in 11 states, and his website says by Election Day that he'll be a write-in in 31 more states.
Yeah, that's NPR pushing him. Total Rockefeller garbage.
Yeah, but my thoughts about it are this. What if they use him as part of the voter fraud and say that he pulled some of the votes from Trump in certain states? That way,
that is exactly what they're doing. It's a total hoax. I've seen him on ABC News, NPR, New York Times. All the enemy publications are pushing him like this plausible reason this happened. And when he goes on shows, all he does is attack Trump. Total Hillary shill.
He's former CIA.
I know. Oh,
yeah, he worked for him. I mean,
I know. Listen. Half the movies that come out, whether it's with The Rock or you name it, or this new movie, about the neighbors or whatever. I saw it last night. Is how the CIA is wonderful. The CIA's foreign banks run the country. So they have all this PR publication. It's just absolutely, totally sick.
Yeah, it really is. And I want to ask all the listeners and all the Trump supporters to do one thing from now until the election is passed. If you don't have a Trump shirt, every day you can, wear something red. And on Election Day, show up dressed in red if you don't have your Trump shirt. That way, when they pan the crowds and lines and they see all that red, they're going to show them who they're voting for before they go in. They don't have to walk up and ask everybody. It's going to be over.
And by the way, Daryl, I don't know who had this idea. Do you know who had the idea of the red shirts? Do you know who had the idea, Daryl?
No. I'm just suggesting myself. That's
No, but I'm trying to give credit to whoever did it. I appreciate your call. What I'm saying is everybody for months has been saying wear red 15 days, 14 days now when you're at the polling place so the news cameras can't ignore the power of it. I totally agree. I just don't know who came up with the idea. I want to give them credit. We are putting out a shirt. You can order right now. It'll be to you in like 4 or 5 days. That is Donald Trump is my president. Trump is my president. And under it, it says, basically Infowars.com, legalize freedom on the back of the shirt. And we're doing that to spread the word and let folks know, hey, we're aware of what happened because whether it's a focus group or a poll, you name it, Trump's 2-1 ahead, but they keep claiming he's going to lose. So we have the shirt, Trump is my president. Hillary for president was a giant meme. That is a limited edition. It's about to end, InfoWarsStore.com. And the profit we make off this obviously funds this operation. So we do need your support. InfoWarsStore.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. I'll be back tomorrow, by the way, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. of the weekday show. But a second hour is happening right now. Stay with us, back in 70 seconds. If we can put this up for TV viewers, I want to put it on screen. It's an image of Uma Abedin with Hillary Clinton. And then she's talking to her press secretary, who we caught last week on tape, putting into his phone what the question should be and handing it to a reporter. And I'm like, we're really ruled by some weirdo Islamist woman who's a hypocrite, who thinks lesbians should be executed, her mother. But then she's girlfriends reportedly with Hillary. And there's this weird old deformed crone is ruling over us, and all of us are cowards, and we all bow down to it. In what twisted dimension did we get to this point? Can we put that on screen? Trump up too. You just go to Drudge, we can show it. But that's the reality as a society of what we face. We are ruled over by absolute scum because we have become a bunch of pacifists that just put up with the establishment lying. It's on screen now. Let's talk to Matt in Oklahoma. Matt, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, I called the Florida, I think it was Division of Elections, and they were saying that after you vote, you could show your ID to, like, see exactly what your vote went to, like which candidate and stuff like that, and that was something I never knew of. The other thing is I was wondering if StopTheSteal.org was still a good thing. I gave some money, and...
Yeah, I mean, Roger Stone has got poll watchers nationwide. Go out and do it yourself. Shoot video, put it on YouTube. It's not about where you do it. It's the fact that you do it. YouTube, Google, get the information out, expose what's happening. That's what's going to scare them. They now came out in Reuters on Friday and said, you're a Russian agent if you allege voter fraud. So you catch people going polling place to polling place voting. It's not that you're an American exposing fraud. You're a Ruski. Well, the good news is nobody's going to buy that.
Yeah, it's like don't question authority. What do we have to gain from cheating you? And it's like, really? Yeah.
Well, all I want to say is Trump is way ahead in major polls. They're going to try to steal it from him. They're panicking. What does your gut tell you is going to happen?
Yeah, basically, I guess we're just going to have to prove it, you know? I guess. I mean, yeah, we're just going to have to prove it, and I think we need to think ahead, be proactive, and not just wait till something happens and whatnot. But, yeah, hey, thanks for that, and just let people know maybe if there's ways they can find out if you want to get to another call. I really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Here's my question to listeners and viewers, especially Democrats. Is there any level of corruption Hillary couldn't stoop to that you wouldn't accept? Because I hate the Republican Party. I love the fact that Trump's an insurrectionist taking it over. Is there any level you wouldn't stoop to feel like you're part of the power structure? And why are you signing on to Hillary? Why do you think she supports you when she doesn't? She's all about betraying her constituents. She has no code of honor or ethics. We got Josh, and we got Chris, and we got a bunch of other folks I'm going to go to. The toll-free number when we come back is 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-ALEX. But I really just want to ask her supporters, is there any level you wouldn't accept because you believe you're part of our power structure? I want to talk to Bernie supporters. I mean, why do you support her when she clearly stole the nomination from him? I'd love to hear you call in and school me how Hillary, working for all the big banks, all the big establishment corporations, all the big money is good, and you claim you're anti-establishment. Big question. Very easy question to answer. The phones are open. We don't screen your calls. I want to hear from you to defend this. Because, listen, I'm smart. I'm going to be okay either way. Man, the general public is going to get really hurt by this lady. And she says she's coming out of the free press. She says she wants to launch all these wars. Is that something you really support? Infowars.com. Hillary Clinton is manifestly a murdering, horrible kingpin that's launched endless illegal wars, helped pass the laws that gave us the derivatives, the banking scams. She's coming after our guns. In her own WikiLeaks memo, she says she wants to keep us dumb and bankrupt and stupid. And so if we go along with that, that's our fault. If you've heard this information, if you looked it up and found out that's true, which you could do in 5 seconds, just type in WikiLeaks, keep the public dumb and in the dark, then why would you support your own demise? Because you're too big a coward to face up to it. Cowards cuzzle up. They cozy up to tyranny, to oppression, to domination, to control, because they believe it gives them power over it, to submit to it. That is a delusion. You give in to tyranny, you give in to oppression, it's because you've rolled over. And Hillary is a monstrous creature with all these hordes of evil people behind her believing they've got unlimited power. But meanwhile, across the world, countries that were once under our control through peaceful means are turning against us because America is now known as an agent of evil. We've lost our soft power. God help us when the dollar devalues. George Soros, admittedly, that runs Hillary, has tried to devalue the pound and the dollar for 40 years. He's tried to bring us down in a pissing contest to mount our head on the wall. And we're so close to falling right now. And he finances all the leftist groups who sit there and lick their lips and can't wait till their bank accounts are worthless. My God, the way they take these people with Stockholm Syndrome and turn them into their own servants, their own agents of demise, makes my head spin. Now, we've got a bunch of loaded phone callers here. Let's talk to Josh in Montana. You're on the air, Josh.
How are you?
I'm all right. You're on the air. Go ahead.
I understand. Listen, man, I want to say God bless you and your crew. And the question that I have for you today is, after knowing these globalist playbooks that you have dissected countless times, what on earth shocks you? What can they do or have they done that totally shocks you, that you cannot foresee happening? What has happened that just totally blows your mind from someone who understands the playbook itself, please go.
You know, that's a really great question, Josh. I want to ask you what shocks you in a moment, but first off, it shocks me that they don't understand that what they do to the general public ends up blowing back on them. And they have such venom towards humanity. That's what shocks me over and over again, the depths to which they will go out of their way, even if it would help them to do good, they'll go out of their way to do bad because that's their nature. I think the genetic engineering, the cross-animal-human hybrids, just the abominable things they do, I think that's what shocks me, is that they go out of their way to do things that even hurt them and their families because they're so committed to evil and anti-human behavior.
You know, why is that their nature? And, you know, sort of going off of your Miss Abedin rant there just for a moment, I don't know if you got a chance to catch the Showtime interview that was aired, I believe, yesterday with the entire Anthony Weiner debacle. Listen,
no, I know. She was married to Weiner. I mean, you know, Weiner's wife is Hillary Clinton's concubine.
Jones, I'd like to tell you, and in that documentary itself, it said clearly that Hillary Clinton gave her a choice: either A, leave him, or B, join her future run for presidential candidate. I mean, that was aired, and it almost blew my mind. I could not believe that. So,
well, part of evil is they throw it in our face. They just hammer us in our face that all these crooked, hunchback, weird, demonic, ugly people rule over us. This is about ugly, bad people ruling good. That's what...
You know, and what's in their nature to ultimately self-destruct?
Well, when you're a hunchback, bug-eyed demon like Hillary Clinton that smells like a dead body since you're a kid, all you want to do is screw everybody and burn the country down. I mean, these are sloths. These are stinkers. These are demons. These are pig creatures. And I mean, you just have to understand they are fallen. This is their nature. This is the paradigm they build. They're dung beetles. So I think you've answered your own questions, my friend.
Fallen, honestly, they have doubled down, and
they wanted to blow the planet up. But listen, they get off at night thinking about nuclear war and everybody dying. Okay, and as soon as they're old enough and they're in control of nuclear weapons, they come into Hillary and say, you're dying of a brain tumor, which she is dying of a brain tumor. She'll launch the nuclear weapons. She wants to kill the entire planet. And people make jokes about that, but she wants to kill everybody as part of a tombstone to her. It's all about her power. And the liberals would love to kill their families and burn the whole planet up if they could do it for Hillary. They want the planet to be her tombstone, brother.
Let's be real on a humanistic level.
I'm serious.
Why
not blow the planet up for Hillary? Are you against feminists? Why not kill every man, woman, and child on the earth for her? They said communists attacked the local cat sanctuary that saves abandoned cats in Austin. They tried to blow it up, basically, and attacked it because they said don't take care of cats. That's baby boomer piece of crap. Liberalism. You understand, sir? These people want death.
Okay, now you sound like a racist.
No. I mean, serious. It was in the paper yesterday. I couldn't believe it. They have a thing called the Cat Cafe where you go buy coffee and donuts and pay for homeless cats. We've actually gone there and donated to help homeless cats. I mean, I don't want to brag that I'm that weird, but that's the kind of stuff I do. I like cats. I like dogs. I've given over $1,000 to the Cat Cafe. They had communists put super glue on the locks, spray paint it, knock the windows out, come and protest it. And the paper actually said, no, this is evil. This is a neighborhood thing that helps things. This is bad. The communists are correct. We cannot take care of cats because they don't want love in the world, sir. They want death. They want destruction. They want hate. They want red sickles.
So this is evil manifest. So this Trump presidency is not only a question of American forwardness.
Not America. Exactly. Trump isn't perfect, but he's not suicidal, and he isn't out to rob you and your family. He wants you to have prosperity. Trump is not out to get you. But, I mean, I cannot make up how nasty these people are, okay? They want poverty. They want you broke. They want you unhappy. They're demons.
I completely agree with you, Mr.
Communists, sir. I'm not lying. Google it. This sounds crazy. Attacked the Cat Cafe that takes care of abandoned cats 2 days ago, okay? the communists are so hardcore that they were drawn towards someone taking care of something innocent. Just like the communists attacked me, the same communists protesting an abortionary last year. The same people showed up to say, don't take care of cats, euthanize them, because they just don't want people loving. You understand? Whether it's a cat or a baby, it doesn't matter. You understand their spirit? These people are literally demons.
I do. And the same message that brought your producer to tears. Honestly, I got to tell you, I really wish that Trump had been doubling down on this message that he's been given the past few days. The past few days, I've heard more clear, honest intentions from Trump than I've heard his entire candidacy.
That's because he's not listening to anybody but himself now. Let me show you. A year after Jumpoline shop was raised, vandals damaged Blue Cat Cafe. And then it goes on. Austin American Statesman, the cat sanctuary attacked by communists. I mean, you cannot make up how evil they are, okay?
I get it. I totally get that. Now, okay, for your listeners, at this critical moment in time where the debates are done, the public opinion is starting to form a biased opinion towards Trump, what do the supporters need to do to make sure that this...
I think you say to liberals, the entire big banking structure and all the bad guys are supporting Hillary. How the hell could you not support Trump?
I completely concur.
Let me tell you about Trump. His own people can't stand him. He is his own guy. That's why the elite hate him. He really is his own guy. He means well. He is a loose cannon, but I'll take a loose cannon over pure evil any day. I mean, we have communist folks attacking animal sanctuaries in Austin, okay? By the way, I'm not mad at Project Veritas. They're amazing. But Friday, Rob Dew comes in and he goes, the feds are after him. They're like coming after him. Horrible stuff's happening. They want to come on. They're in an emergency. They think that James O'Keefe's in danger. Well, I'll go, well, where's James O'Keefe? Well, he's in the air right now. But, they were wanting to give us an exclusive on Monday with this new big video. Their last stuff totally dominated and was Democratic top operatives admitting election fraud, admitting that they're busing people in and stealing elections. So I'm like, okay, great. Do I announce it? He goes, oh, no, I talked to him. Announce they're coming on sometime today. So then I go on air and I say, okay, James O'Keefe's coming on with this big, giant announcement, and they're after him. And I hear, well, it's going to be one of his backup people. He's still on the air. We're not sure now. And then now they've been threatened more, and a bunch of crazy stuff's going on. And I'm not going to get into stuff I've been told. And then I get her today, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to have them on and talk about what happened to them. Well, they would have come on and just talk about their stories, not what's currently happening. And I said, no. I said, I want to tell the listeners what happened to them, or I want to be told what's going on, because I don't want to just sit here and say, oh, my God, they're under attack, and then just forget it. Okay, so I love James O'Keefe. I love the work they're doing. He's incredible. He's the gold standard. We're going to find out in the next few days what's going on. But make no mistake, we get attacked. They get attacked. They're amazing. I'm not blaming them for being all flustered. But they've never called me. I've known them like 7-8 years or longer than that. They've never acted like this. They're not drama queens. This is so bad. Whatever's going on, they won't tell us. And they're all freaked out, running around like chickens with their heads cut off. So I've got James' cell. I've called it. I've got their other numbers. And I'm just getting the runaround. So I guess they're ready to come on. I mean, I could have his number 2 on and just interrogate him on air, but I'm not going to do that. I told him, try to find out, talk to him, say, what's going on? What do they want to cover? Can they tell us what's happening? Then I'll have them on. Because, again, I keep just relaying to my people, ask them that. And they go, well, we're not going to talk about it. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on then. I just, all I can do is just say what's happening. I can't sit here and just leave it all open. Or talk about what they did. I mean, I've got all these videos where they have top Democrats admitting total election fraud, just bombshell, gold standard information. We've played it. We've talked about it. My God, I've said donate to them. What else can I do? They're under attack. They're totally freaked out. I'm not supposed to tell you what they've told me, so I'm sitting here. I'm not going to hear this stuff and then sit here and have a regular interview about your content. Just not happening. It's not happening. Because I'm too freaked out about the press in this country and where it's under attack. That's the big issue. We know Hillary's a crook. My God, I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm ashamed of this country, okay? We have seen persecutions of the press that we don't see in China. We have seen evil. We have seen triplicate WikiLeaks of them saying, keep the public dumb, keep them in the dark, rip them off, make them poor. That pisses me off. Nothing pisses me off more than trying to make people poor. That fundamentally gets me in a fighting mood. And we have it from WikiLeaks. We have it from the emails. We have it from Veritas. We have it up one side and down the other. It's like God is giving us every chance we've got to say no to this. And we're not saying no. You know, I went to Google Trends this weekend because I was told one of our videos was like number 6, and it was. Like election fraud or something was like number 6. But everything above it and below it, like 30 deep and 5 up, was this college team and that college team and this NFL team and that NFL team. And it's not that I'm against an NFL team, but man, when they're getting ready to appoint 5 Supreme Court justices, when they're coming after the guns, when they're coming after your families, when we defeat the globalists, we can watch some football games, okay? But not when the whole country is being fed feet first into a GD wood chipper. So that's where I stand. And I'm not bitching. I'm not on some high horse. It's just, I can't tell you how many times somebody I know gets beat up, gets audited, gets assaulted, and they go, I can't talk about it. They'll get me more. And I'm just like, that's why they're winning. That's why they're winning. You tell me all this stuff that happens to you, and then I can't go on the air and tell people. It pisses me off. Because I've already been through it. I understand it. The way you get out of it is admitting it and shooting up the bat signal to the American people that you're under attack. You do not beat this by rolling over to it. So I have to sit here on air knowing the stuff I know and just act all normal and act all cool because people tell me stuff in confidence, and I have to sit here and not talk about it. And it pisses me off. Makes me real angry. Because I'm sick of being run by crooks, and I can't believe my fellow countrymen and women put up with this level of BS. I mean, I look at Hillary Clinton, and I'm like, what a joke. What a frickin' archetypal joke. Running our lives, screwing us over on video, admitting she wants to F us and our families, admitting she wants to make us poor, admitting she has all this bad will against us. Like, what is this creepazoid, freakazoid, grand asshole? I mean, I'm sorry, but sometimes French is the only words I've got. What is this witch and her flying monkeys doing running my life? Why do we put up with this? And then I ask, maybe we're worse than her. Maybe that's it. And then maybe I should just sayonara and just shut this down, because I don't say that for effect. I mean, every day I just sit here because I'm willing to face them down to death. I'm willing to do anything to fight these people. But I sit here and I go, why am I doing this when the public doesn't give a damn about their birthright and everything being stolen right in front of them? And the screwing over of people, and the lying, and the cheating, and the sycophants. Because that's what gets to me. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, if we were dealing with enemies that were like 14 foot tall, 14 foot tall and really badass, I could deal with this. We've been conquered by a bunch of hunchback, weak, ugly, bug-eyed pieces of filth. And that's what gets to me, is that we're conquered by a bunch of trash that thinks it's better than us because it's willing to piss on everybody and screw everybody over. That's what really fundamentally gets to me at the end of the day. And then you get somebody like Donald Trump, who's so prideful and so manly and so good that he wants to compete in the real world and dominate. He doesn't want to make people poor. He doesn't want to piss down your back. He doesn't want to dominate you. He doesn't want to sell you out. And you're so bound to slavery and so beat up and so trashy. I don't mean you, the listeners, but you know who I'm talking about. That you reject a God-sent gift. And then I sit back and I go, well, then these people don't deserve support. Do you know what's scary? The dumbasses that go along with this are so stupid, they won't even know they've lost when they've lost. And then I realize why I do what I do. There are good people spotted through this German, Chinese, Jewish, Christian, Latin American, I don't care, Inuit, who don't want to be slaves and who love God and love freedom. And they don't know what's going on. And so they're just trying to be good people. You know what? That's why I'm going to fight evil. Because I will lose my soul if I don't face this down. And so, doesn't matter if most of you don't listen. This isn't for you. This broadcast is for those that hear the truth and who want freedom. And you've got a commitment from me. I'm never giving up. I'm never giving in. I'm never backing out. I'm 110% in. So, I'll be honest with people. I was brought up a Christian, didn't like establishment churches, but the older I get, I see God's plan. And if you study the Bible, it says that God will always show you what's really going on before you're judged to give you a chance to turn back. And you've got, what's crazy is, because I have a good memory, a decent memory, and it's finally being pointed out by the press, not just us. You'll have WikiLeaks 2 months ago with Hillary sending protesters dressed up as Bernie Sanders supporters to attack Trump supporters. That way she can demonize Trump supporters and Sanders supporters. And then now you've got the witnesses coming out and the videos coming out. So what's crazy is we don't just have WikiLeaks, we have the videos of it happening, and then the people that were involved admitting they were involved, and then prosecutors coming out and pointing out what's going on. It's wild. We like have the emails, then we have the video of it happening. And I got to tell you, you know, the Chicago police tell you, yeah, Alex, yesterday they had people hired, they bust in, they attacked our officers, they were brought in by MoveOn.org and George Soros and Media Matters and blah, blah, blah. And then 3 months later, 4 months later, it's in the WikiLeaks. You're like, whoa. I mean, I got to be honest. Police got problems, and I speak out against them when they do bad stuff, but we've never been given bad info by the cops. It's kind of sickening. I mean, it's like, wow, I've never gotten such intel the last few years. It's like on. It's like Roger Stone. All he gives us is good info, because you give somebody bad info one time, it's kind of like us. People don't listen anymore. And I'm not in an ass-kicking contest or ass-kissing contest with the police. It's just that they got their own problems, but they're not out to get the country. That's what I'm saying about Trump. This is an outside globalist takedown, folks. We can have our differences on race and religion and where we live or whatever. I get it. There's real beefs, but this is a takedown of the country, folks. This is world government. And you've got George Soros, this master demon, a real Nazi collaborator, a real guy that wants to implode our economy, involved in so much of this. I'm not trying to single him out. He brags each time he's behind it. He's so arrogant. I've got 3 clips. Hillary, violent operatives unmasked on video at the scene of the crime. Because they're demonizing James O'Keefe because they gave him a trespassing charge for exposing government corruption once. Big deal. The guy deserves a Congressional Medal of Honor. And then they sit there and go through these pieces like he is exposing things that don't exist. It's admitted this is happening. So here's the first clip.
You know, I know nothing about this. I'm not, you know, I
here she is getting a stage question.
Conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
First, let's look at a couple emails. Remember Zulema Rodriguez? Here she is bragging about shutting down the Trump rally in Chicago, where people, including police officers, were hurt.
So, me and I did the Chicago Trump event where we shut down the light bulbs. Yeah.
One thing that stands out is she claims to speak to Hillary's campaign and the DNC every day at 1 o'clock.
I just had a call with the campaign and the DNC every day at 1 o'clock.
Now let's go to WikiLeaks and take a look at an email found in the batch of leaked DNC emails. This one from May 2016. Here we find an email sent by Robert Creamer, who is featured in both videos, to another DNC worker, reminding her about the 1 o'clock Trump rapid response phone call that must be made, discussing an upcoming Trump and Pence rally. This matches the activities he described in the hidden camera footage.
And my role with the campaign is to manage all that.
But it doesn't stop there. Digging into the Elections Commission payroll records online, which is not leaked information but material that is openly available, we find payments made to Zulema Rodriguez directly by Hillary's campaign right around the time of the Chicago riots. This shatters the big media lie that these people are not directly involved or controlled by Hillary's campaign. Bob Creamer, who sent the email discussing the calls and resigned after this video came out, met with Obama regularly and has visited the White House hundreds of times, which is verifiable through the White House visitor logs. And now the cherry on top. Here we have footage of Zulema at the Chicago rally that was shut down due to violence, clearly working very hard for $1,500. And then more footage in Arizona where protesters shut down the highway, as she also boasted about in the video. Here it appears she's faking a medical emergency for the cameras.
Now, remember, in March, we had the police sources, we're on tape, we played it last week, saying, MoveOn.org, George Soros, because we had it from the Chicago police, who got hit upside the head with crowbars, bottles. One guy has jaw broken. Literally, jaw surgery. I mean, what are we supposed to put up with in this country? Hit upside the head by crowbars by some frickin' Nazi collaborating bastard? And it's all confirmed. The money, everything. We have it in triplicate. The emails, the federal funding, the FBI files. It all connects. Let's go to the next clip. Let me tell you, you break my jaw, I'm coming after you, man. I'm not putting up with this crap. Where is the Chicago PD putting up with this? Where are you putting up with someone breaking your jaw of an officer? If a normal citizen did that, it'd be attempted murder charges. It should be. And again, if this was just regular citizens, I would call for charges but wouldn't be so upset. It's foreign globalists. Stand up against an attack against our country. This is like the maximum level here. This just pisses me off so bad that I can barely do this show anymore. Because it's so obvious that frickin' Hillary Clinton, man, and a goddamn George Soros, excuse me, I don't mean to talk like that, but I am fed up. Here's the second clip. Here it is.
Now another very interesting email. This conversation between various DNC workers on May 10th discusses phrases and language they intend to put on signs to maximize outrage among Trump supporters, like GOP plus Trump, dangerous, divisive, and deceitful. And once again, Mr. Creamer makes an appearance, and they discuss the fact that they have been speaking to him about planning an incident at an upcoming Trump event.
He's the head guy.
Now let's go to a clip posted by CNN just a day after this conversation. Pay attention to the signs in the background.
What they're trying to say actually really railing on the issue of immigration reform.
If that wasn't enough, see if you can spot someone who looks familiar here. Does anybody recognize him? Let me jog your memory.
There he is, there he is, there he is. So what was going on for the past hour was a very, very limited meeting.
So I'm basically Deputy Rapid Response Director.
Aaron Black.
DNC for all things Trump on the ground.
This guy is Aaron Black. He works full-time for Creamer at Democracy Partners. He directs the spontaneous protests at Trump and Pence events.
There's also an article from 6 months ago, published by ABC News, that at the time had no hard evidence behind it, where somebody speaks out about being hired to incite violence at a Trump rally, responding to an ad on Craigslist. It's just another piece to put on the growing pile of evidence that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC are in fact tampering with the election.
That's right.
Now that the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place, there is no reason why this story should not be the #1 story in America right now. The narrative that Project Veritas is producing misleading, out-of-context and edited footage is blatantly proven false.
That's right.
And that is the idea the media and the White House are pushing.
They've gotten the Federal Elections Commission numbers. They've done their own WikiLeaks. They've cross-referenced it all. These videos are powerful. Proof Project Veritas is right. I'm going to put an article out tonight and a video showing all of this, but this is amazing. That's what makes me so angry, is that they're really persecuting Veritas right now. They don't know how to respond to it, but we'll be covering it obviously tomorrow. They're ready to come on today, but I want them to just say what's happening to them, or I'm not doing it. That's just where I stand right now, because they need to just go ahead and talk about what's happening to them. Now, speaking of supporting a broadcast, we're going to come back and play some more clips and go to your phone calls with the prosecutor talking about how criminal Hillary is and what they're doing. But before I go any further, we've got Brain Force, the incredible nootropic, just known supplements, herbs that boost brain function normally, naturally, with God's own herbs. You get free shipping. You can also get 10% off with auto ship, InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, 25% off on the mega special ending soon, InfoWarsLife.com. We have several other specials as well. Living Defense, Parasite Cleanse is back in. Amazing herbs to flush out your body. This is sold out routinely because it's so hard to keep in stock. InfoWarsLife.com, Living Defense, now back in. The last run ever of Hillary for President shirts. When these are sold out, they're sold out. It's our third and final round of Hillary for President shirts, and your funding supports this broadcast. InfoWarsStore.com. We'll be back on Alex Jones. I'm always honest with you. I'm honest with myself, or I'd be dead. We're in deep trouble, but we're devastating the enemy. Humanity is awakening in such a big way. And if they try to steal this election, which they're currently doing, it's going to blow up in their face even bigger. We don't need to be violent. That's a whole other show I'm going to talk about tomorrow. We should do a whole show on what happens if they steal the election, because Trump's way ahead. They're trying to say, how dare him question an election when all the Democrats do is question elections. It's such an incredible time to be alive right now. I'm going to go to a few more of your phone calls here in the time we have left. But we have a former federal prosecutor, Joe DiGenova, believes the recent Project Veritas video by James O'Keefe featuring DNC contractors explaining their dirty practices to foment violence at Trump rallies is a prima facie or on its face case for federal and state criminal activity. It's racketeering. It's organized crime. It's intimidation. It's the Ku Klux Klan, attacking blacks to try to vote. It is textbook. So here's the clip.
What's really fascinating about the James O'Keefe video, which has the two people discussing how they are going to cause disruptions at Trump rallies and try to get the media to blame Trump. This was an official action of the Democratic Party through its surrogates to publicly disrupt the activities of the Republican Party.
Certified racketeering, organized crime.
I happen to believe that since they were inciting violence, that they committed crimes. And I believe that there were both state and federal crimes. First of all, they were interfering with a federal election.
No doubt.
I think, and they were purposely trying to create violence. I think on its face.
Notice when we did this, we said don't disrupt.
Of not only criminal
every
intent,
speech,
but actual criminal activity. And I think there should be federal investigations and state investigations of all the people on those videos. They should subpoena all of their records of payment, who was involved, how it was known. I'm not holding my breath, given this United States Justice Department, which is the most political and politically corrupt in history. But anybody with an ounce of brains will see that this was not Dick Tuck doing a prank on a train, putting alcohol in somebody's drink instead of water. This was somebody trying to injure people, trying to create violence where innocent
they said go out and start a riot.
Injured, property might be destroyed. These are crimes, and it needs to be dealt with that way. That tape is absolutely prima facie evidence of criminal activity.
On its face.
It needs to be investigated. And I haven't heard a peep out of the United States Justice Department. They continue to embarrass me as a former United States attorney and a former senior Justice Department official. I'm embarrassed by Loretta Lynch and her conduct of the business of the Department of Justice. And, of course, very embarrassed by the director of the FBI.
Yeah,
who ought to have FBI agents all over this right now. But, of course, he's too busy explaining why he didn't investigate Hillary. I don't know what James O'Keefe's next video is that's coming out, but I understand it's going to be a doozy, and I'm looking forward to viewing it.
Yeah, by the way, I don't want to be a drama queen here. They wanted us to put it out on Monday, and we're like, absolutely, we're honored. He's given us exclusive before, and then he's in the air, and they're freaking out. Oh, my God, the feds are coming after us. We're going to give you the codes to this new video, tell people, and then everything's silent. We'll see what happens. They wanted to come on today, but not O'Keefe, and I said, look, let me know so I can tell people what's going on, or I'm not doing it. I'm not pissing on them. They're incredible people. I just want to find out what's going on because I don't want to half-ass this with folks, but when you're up there persecuting the press and when you're going after people and when you're trying to cause riots and when you're trying to beat people up, that's racketeering to shut down free speech. That's organized crime. We said, as I always pointed out, we're going, because they've done this, to their events. He's settled rape cases in legal, lawful areas, if you believe what I'm saying, to stand up and say Bill Clinton's a rapist. Do not get in fights. Do not climb over railings. Do not cause a problem. See, that's the difference. And I made this up front. I'm not defending myself now. I said this at the beginning. That's the difference between us and them. They say, go to an event, cause a fight, and then don't tell people who you were. No. We don't want to cause a fight. We want to block the media that will not allow the truth to come out. And that's what we're doing. Because I check with lawyers. They're like, yeah, just don't call for violence. Don't call for shutting the event down. Absolutely, that's racketeering. But can we go and say, hey, Bill Clinton's a rapist? If you believe that, absolutely. In a legal and lawful area in a crowd, that's fine. When they tell you you're disrupting, go out, that's fine. Do that. They've clearly committed these crimes, folks. Okay? The reason I bring up my own case is I bring up what we do behind the scenes to make sure we're following the law. They go like 10 times what we do. And we're doing this in response to them. It's like they punch us, we slap them back. You know, like, hey, you better stop. I want to take a few phone calls here, but obviously the show's coming up tomorrow. We got 14 days left tomorrow, 15 days right now. I want to say the crew's doing an amazing job. I'm so honored to be here. It is Twilight Zone, though, at this point. Because we've got the emails, we've got the injunctions, we've got the witnesses, we've got everything. They are taking the country down. And we don't want a civil war. They think they may get a civil war. Here's the most important thing I've said in 22 years on air. The globalists are going to sit offshore in their luxury mansions while we kill each other. We don't want that. We want to identify the globalists, identify their programs, say no to it. And then if they steal the election and stuff goes on, we don't go out and burn down buildings. We don't go out and shoot some poor cop who's making 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year. We just politically get more involved because they're the ones discrediting themselves. They want to trick us into some type of fight. The local government, even the average FBI agent, it's not our enemy. I don't say that because I don't want to have a war with them and I'm scared. Just give me a break. I'm not scared of anything. Everybody knows that. They're not the enemy. The FBI and the local police are more awake than the general public to what's going on. We have been overtaken by criminals. They're trying to stop it. You just saw that former prosecutor. Do we go shoot him because he's a former Fed? No, he's our ally. We take the country back, not because we're on a high horse, not because we have all the answers, but because we want due process and we're out for good. And we will defeat a Nazi collaborating piece of crap like George Soros any day. That's why they're funding Black Lives Matter and communist groups who are causing riots and attacking stuff in Austin as we speak. I mean, this is happening today. They've got a destabilization program going on. And we've just got to get the word out, not be idiots, and not, if they steal the election, go crazy and start burning stuff or blowing shit up. Excuse me. Delay that. Sorry. This has just gotten so real, folks. So down to the wire. Americans don't kill Americans. We educate other Americans. We stand up for what's right. Somebody tries to push us around, tries to take us to some political prison, then we fight. But not because we wanted to, we had to then. We're taking high road all the way, and if they want to meet us on that high road and start a fight, we're ready to win it. But not out of something we wanted to do. If you want us to stomp your ass, we'll do it. We've been preparing for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years with other patriots. And we weren't looking for trouble. You're looking for trouble, you came to the right place. But the people ought to be looking for trouble are the ones that want to bend this country over a barrel and have their way with it. It's not happening. Now, I know we got loaded phones. I'm out of time. I apologize to everybody. Call back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'll take your calls. We've got a great crew, great group of people in there. And look, it's not that we're rocket scientists. I'm not perfect, but I'm not out to screw you. I don't want to rob you and your family. I want prosperity. I want renaissance. And I know you want that too, no matter what color you are or where you came from. But you got to realize the enemy's not like you. And your biggest blind spot, my biggest blind spot, is we think because we want prosperity and a fair shake that they're like us. They're not like us. And we're going to have to kick their ass. Now, I'd say make economic decisions, cultural decisions that circumvent them. But if they want to get down in the weeds and they want to have a face-to-face fight, they're going to lose. So I'm not looking for trouble. I'm not a guy that shoots his mouth off, but let me tell you something. We've done stuff that if they want a physical fight, we're going to beat their ass into the ground. We're going to hammer them into the wall. But let's not go there. Let's not play that game. Let's do everything we can to affect change now, peacefully and politically, to turn this around. And then if they want trouble, we're not going to have some dumb civil war where the local cops are enemy or the local FBI agents are enemy. It's going to be the politician. It's going to be people with a voting record that's against this country. It's going to be people that sold this nation out, and then they will respect you and they will fear you because they know you're coming right at their neck. And a lot of people looking for a fight. In the end, they're going to get the fight they're looking for. They can already feel our hands going around their necks right now. That's why they're so scared. It's a spiritual fight. It's a fight they've lost before. They'll lose it again. Lord willing, I'll see you at 11 a.m. tomorrow Central, 12 noon Eastern, Infowars.com. Fabulous job, crew and listeners. We couldn't do it without you.